Welcome students to Console Input using the Scanner class. All right, we've talked a lot about output the last few lessons, but now let's talk about input. So let's start off by talking about the Scanner class. And we have talked about classes previously. We've had a couple of them that we've worked with. But today we're going to add another class which is very essential for getting user input. And we're going to use this class a lot throughout this course, which is the Scanner class. Just like any other package, though, it has to be imported, and we're going to use that with the code import java.util.scanner. This class allows the program to continuously scan for user input and will translate keystrokes as characters. The util, of course, is short for utility, which is the package that scanner belongs to. Now, if we want to create a scanner object, the following line will create it. Scanner keyboard equals new scanner system.in. Keyboard is an object created in the scanner class. As such, you could theoretically name it any other object name. We would use keyboard, or sometimes KB, as it keeps it easy to remember and prevents us from confusing with other potential object names. Here's a quick sample code that shows scanner keyboard in use. So I have the import code up here at the top, and then I have scanner keyboard equals new scanner system.in, system.println, enter the number of pods followed by system.println, number of p's in a pod. So I'm going to take these two ints, so int number of pods equals keyboard.nextInt, and this is how you're going to use this code to get your scanners. You have to use .next int. We'll talk about that here in a few minutes. Int piece per pod is keyboard.nextInt, so they're both reading in one integer, just one. System.println number of pods plus pods and system.println piece per pod plus piece per pod. So when you run that code, it's going to say enter the number of p's followed by the number of pods. So in this example, the user typed 3 and then they typed 5. So the program said there are 3 pods and 5 p's per pod. All right. So that next int method that we saw earlier. All right. This is a method of the scanner class that reads in data that the user types on the keyboard. If the user types anything other than an int, then an error will occur. Numbers must be separated by white spacing. This can occur either by a line break or a space. We saw this again in our example. Here's that code. Int number of pods equals keyboard.nextInt, and int piece per pod equals keyboard.nextInt. Similarly, besides nextInt, you can use nextDouble. It also reads in data that the user types on the keyboard, and if they type anything other than a double or an int, then an error occurs. So you could just, because it's a double, remember doubles can take ints, so you could just type 4 and it would be valid. Numbers must be separated by white spacing. This can occur either by a line break or a space. So here's an example. Oh, a little too fast. Double D1 equals KB.nextDouble. And if we look here, here's another one. So now I have another demo. It says int n1, 2, scanner object. So that's just a different one I can use other than just keyboard. So I use scanner object this one equals new scanner system.in. System.out.println, enter 2 whole numbers, and 1 equals scanner object.nextInt, and 2 equals scanner object.nextInt. System.out.println, you entered n1 and n2. System.out.println, next enter 2 numbers. All right, and you'll notice now with the second half, it's doing the exact same thing, except instead of it being ints, it's doubles. Right? So here, enter 2 whole numbers. I entered 1, 5. The program echoes back. You entered 1 and 5. Next, enter 2 numbers, 1.2, 3.7. And then the program says you entered 1.2 and 3.7. All right, here we are on the self-test exercises. Write an import statement that makes the scanner class available to your program. Number 2, write a line of code that creates a scanner object named Frank to be used for obtaining keyboard input. Number 3, write a complete Java program that reads in a line of keyboard input containing 2 values of type int, separated by 1 or more spaces, and outputs the 2 numbers as well as the sum of the 2 numbers. And that concludes our lesson, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time.